my friends, and happy holidays. I'm Sean with Manly Made Minute, and welcome to Kendra's Card Challenge number 20. I have one last video for you for the year and for Kendra's Card Challenge, and this is another card sampler. This one is the Nutcracker Christmas Card Kit Sampler, and I thought I'm going to save this one for Christmas Day and wrap up this challenge and our sample packs and our holiday cards with one last kit. So this is a really classic looking kit, very rich in the greens and the reds and the nutcracker tree and all that kind of stuff, and the ballerinas and things. So this is a great kit. Really nice and classic and easy to put together. We're going to try to get 3 cards out of this, and I might be able to squeeze another bonus card like I did on my last video. I have a tiny bit of stuff left. I think I've planned this out. We'll see. But my goal is to get 3 sketches and maybe a bonus card for you, again, with 0 waste on this one. So it took me a little bit of planning and looking at the sketches, but I think it's doable. So let's just take a look at what I have for a sample kit before I slice and dice this up. And I'm going to throw in a couple little surprises with some washi tape and maybe some cool backgrounds on this one, and see what we can come up with. So before I head down to that table camera, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to have you follow me here on YouTube as well as Instagram. I've got my Kendra's videos. I've got other design team videos. I do live streams. I do card hops. You name it. I'm just having fun sharing this with you all. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. All right, let's head down to the table cam, take a look at this paper, and then we're going to slice it up and make you some cards. All right, so this card kit, as you can see, nice, classic, rich kind of colors, nutcracker kind of stuff in Christmas. So here is the paper. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 card bases essentially on this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of ephemera, and so 8, 9 pieces of ephemera. I've kind of got these stacked on how I'm going to do the cards, so I don't want to mess this up. So we've got this. We're going to go this card. We're going to go here. We're going to go here, and I have these little scraps left. So you can see I've got nice plain card panels. These are double-sided, so we've got a red and a green. A little bit more of a Christmas red on that one. I have double-sided with the snowflakes, and then I've got stockings and presents on this side. We've got the Nutcracker Christmas on this side with candy canes, brown and a dark brown. And then we've just got some really nice ephemera, and these are two-sided on some of these. So we're going to kind of do a little cheating on some and squeeze these into card design and do like I did last time. Not necessarily using a white background, but we're going to maybe throw some of these in instead of my crafter's choice. Okay? Let's get dicing these up, and we're going to do some card sketches for you. All right. We're going to get started. I stretched out this sampler pack with 4 sketches for you today. I was able to stretch this out and just modify measurements just slightly to squeeze out a little extra paper out of this, and I can't wait to show you my tiny little pile of scraps that I have left out of this packet. All right, let's just start. We're going to start sketch number 3. So, as you can see, that gray panel, I am using just a red glitter stock for that back gray panel. And then my white. My white is your crafter's choice. And so I'm going to actually use one of these brown card panels from the, and I could go dark, because that actually looks really pretty with the, this is like a dark brown. I think we're going to go dark brown. Yeah, we're going to go dark brown side. This came to the measurement of that white cardstock, so I just left it and making that my crafter's choice. So we're going to just do kind of that plain background on this one. Glue these together, and then this cardstock, again, I think I've said this, when you are gluing, it gets a little slippery, so I have to let it get a little tack on there because it will slide really easy. All right. Now I had a longer piece that I was able to cut down to get my corner pieces, and then the flip side of that, so that you can see this is the same paper. The flip side I used for my other one. And these ones I just made tiny bit smaller so that I could fit everything out of that one sheet that came in the sample pack. I'm slightly cheating just a tiny bit, but I am able to squeeze out, and you can still see what sketch this is. So that's the key when you're doing these, is being able to see what sketch you have. You can add stuff, you can add ephemera, you can add stamping, you can add things, right? But you just want to be able to see what that sketch is when you are finished. So you should be able to tell. And this one, you're going to be able to tell. So you can kind of see it's slightly smaller. It should be the same width of that. So I'm just going to center that, because some of these edges are going to get covered up by my little middle ephemera that came in this pack anyway. I'm just turning it to make sure I'm straight both ways, basically. There you go. Now, I had this one green piece. It was just a tiny bit bigger, and you can see I took a die cut, and I die cut 3 edges of it. Then I just moved it and popped it in place into the grooves again, and I cut that one edge just so that I could have a nice clean edge to my middle piece. It's just kind of a way that you can level up your cards just a little bit. And so then I'm just taking that ephemera, offsetting that onto there. Then we're going to pop up this on dimensionals, and my one little snowflake we're going to pop up on dimensionals. So as you can see, it's going this way, and I'm just modifying this just slightly because of what I had for paper in here, and making this work for this pack. And so it's going to be off in a different direction, and measurements are going to be slightly off, but I am still able to use a center focal point. All right, get that a little glue just so I have some time to wiggle that in there. And then I had one sentiment left that was this, peace and love. And I just couldn't get that worked in there. So we're not going to put a sentiment on this one. And we're going to call this one sketch number 3. Glad I switched that to that nice dark chocolate. That looks like a chocolate covered cherry kind of color. So love that color. All right, let's move on. We're going to move on now. And we're going to do sketch number 5. This one I had so much fun with. I took the liberty on that white background of Artist Liberty, and I kind of went crazy. So you can see that gray piece. I got my red cardstock out again. What I did for that white background is I took a white piece of cardstock to that measurement. But what I did is I used Brutus Monroe has these washi sheets, and so he comes out with these card panels that you cut. This was like this, and I cut my like this, and I cut my one card panel out of there. So it comes 4 card panels. This is your washi map, and so the washi sheets come in sheets like this. And I picked this one because it had little nutcrackers on there. It had the where is she? It had the ballerinas and the globes and things that had that nutcracker theme, and it kind of matched the color. So what these are strips of washi that you can lay in these maps or do your own. So I used one of the maps, and I laid out the washi. Then I took Garnet Glitter Glaze by Brutus Monroe and just gave it a little glitter glaze. And I know most of this is going to get covered by my design anyway, so I wasn't too concerned because it did smear just a tiny bit because of the ink on the washi, but that's okay. because I know it's covering with some of this other stuff, right? The goal here was just to get some texture and design in that background. I tend to stencil or do some chroma paste stuff or paste through like stencils and things on those backgrounds, but I just was like, I gotta do some washi. I thought it'd be fun to do some washi on this one. All right, then I had these pieces of ephemera. This one had a little saying on the front side, the back side looked like this, but I cut them down close to that size because I wanted to use what was in this pack. So they aren't quite long enough. They're to the width, but not quite long enough, but I just modified that a little bit. Then I took silver glitter stock and just framed it out with silver glitter stock. And on these, I'm going to glue these ones down, and I'll pop that middle one up. And I just cut this one down to size because I was able to do so with that ephemera that I had. And so then I kind of custom mat. I glued the pieces down onto my glitter stock and then kind of custom cut around it because it didn't quite match the matting layers on there after modifying it slightly. But again, you can tell what sketch this is when we're done, right? You can see the layout. And then this one I thought was perfect because it already had my sentiment. And again, white layer and that gray layer are Artist Liberty. So I did the silver to go with silver and red. And then I just used the ephemera I had because I could cut it to size for that piece. My head was in the way. Sorry, I was just trying to look at if I'm square. Let me just double check that. Pretty darn close. So that's sketch number 5. We got our 2 layers. Then I've got my different patterns for my different papers. And then I've got my Artist Liberty with the sentiment in the middle. All right, let's move on. We're going to move on. And now we're going to do sketch number 7. And now this one I had to bring in just a little bit of extra paper from another paper pad that I had. And this one is actually from, let me grab it. This is from Tonic Studios, the Candy Cane Christmas pack of this piece here. And then the piece was already in this pack. So I took this had a red and a dark green. This came in the sample pack. I cut out my my top or my layering for my top square out of the back side of this, so I had it to match because I'm just going to cover it up with my paper, right? So I'm using this paper. Ooh, maybe we could go here. Let me just see. Nope, I like to tone on tone because I just added a little bit of color. So I saw that, but then I'm like, maybe I should change my mind, but we're not going to. All right, I shouldn't have done the middle. That's all right. I was going for a little tone on tone with just a little splash of some mint green and some pink and brown in there on this card. And so these 2 came with my pack. Let me just wipe that off before I smear glue on everything here. Okay. Get that to stick. Then, easy peasy. So this is that square that I gutted off that back, right? Then I took that piece from Tonic Studios and I picked it up to kind of match. So I'm just throwing in a little pink and brown into this mix with another tone of green. And so that's this is that white piece, Artist Liberty. I could do a sentiment here. I could do some stamping in here. I'm not because I had a sentiment left of ephemera in this pack. So I'm using that piece on this one. And I had that left over, and as I was re-looking at stuff, I'm like, oh, I think I can squeeze that actually right in here. And I'm not going to pop this up because I have my strip left to go here, and so I'm going to just glue this down. You got to go kind of towards the top of this. It's off-centered slightly up towards the top. In the design, there's nothing in the bottom. I'm adding my sentiment there. All right. Now I had a strip left that I just cut slightly down, and then I flagged it like what's on there. And I'm going to put this pop this whole piece up. So we're going to glue these on first. And then this is double-sided, and I chose to use the side with my little nutcrackers on there. So I'm going to put the center one on first, so it's good and centered. And I die cut these out. My die cut, I think, is backwards because I originally was going to use the other side until I started matchy-matchy and then decided I wanted to use the nutcracker side. But it's still got a little stitching you can see, so I'm okay with that. If it's upside down, or if it's upside down for the stitching, nobody's going to notice that much. I pre-cut it, and then I decided after I cut it that I wanted the other side. I'm just kind of letting that tack on there for a minute as that dries. Then my piece, I had this one piece left. I cut it down a little bit to size so I could custom frame out my sentiment for my piece sentiment. I'm glad I kind of like sat and looked at this for a minute because I was going to have a couple extra ephemera pieces, and in the end I have one piece left. So I was able to squeeze, this piece was one of them. I thought I was going to have this one left over, and it worked out. It worked out perfect for this card. So I hope you're getting some ideas with these sample packs. You sometimes you gotta sit and kind of look at them, check out your sketches, right? And I had to measure a couple times my pieces to see if I could squeeze things out of them and get some extra cards in there. So it did take me just maybe 15 minutes or so just to kind of figure out card sketches that fit with all the pieces that I had. But it's worth it. Definitely worth it. Getting this many cards out of a little pack like that, that's awesome. And if you are not doing Kendra's card challenges yet, I encourage you to try. I'll have all the links to everything below, and then you get all the sketches that you can do. So you got to do 15 cards per quarter. You can do it once per quarter. You can do once per month. Whatever you want. You can do it a couple times a month, 3 times a quarter, 3 times a quarter, whatever you want to do. But that's totally up to you. But all the links will be in there. And there is sketch number 7. That's actually a very cute card. I like that layout a lot, actually. All right, we are going to go on to our last card, which is sketch number 12. So with Kendra's Card Challenge, you also could do a Patreon membership, which is totally worth it. You get bonus printables every single month. You're going to get access to the mystery kits. You get these sample kits. All these little extras that you get that helps to support this challenge is totally worth it. And all those links will be below. Now, when you do your challenge, you're going to want to take a picture of all 15 cards in one picture, and then you upload it to that links party link to get entered in. Tons of prizes per quarter. Kendra does a nice job getting super sponsors and our sponsors for the challenge each quarter that donate prizes and stamp sets and all kinds of stuff. So definitely check it out. If you're a new card maker, these are awesome because you get all these templates that you can do without even having to think at it. So it gets you the habit of using your designer series paper, how to use them, starts getting the brain juices going on extra things that you can do, get out extra consumables, glitter paste, things like these washi maps that I got. It kind of stretches you just to challenge yourself a little bit to see what else you can add to it. And Kendra encourages you to add things. Like I'm going to add some snowflakes to this one. Highly encouraged, as long as you can see what template this is when you're done. All right, so my back panel, you can see I did the white panel is the card base that came with it. It has a green side and a red side. I did red. Then I ran it through an embossing folder with some snowflakes on there. And then I cut everything else to spec. I think I forgot my one piece that goes behind for my matte layer. And we can grab a matte layer here quick. I'll probably do gold. So I'll cut out a gold matte layer. Now this was another one that worked out with this ephemera. You can see there's measurements there, but they're both white and gray. So they're at your liberty, actually, of what you use, as long as you can see the sketch again. Now, I should probably use that shape, but I'm similar. I'm very close. So we are good. I'm going to grab really quick some gold to cut onto that back side. And that is a full panel, so we're just going to go my 5.5 by 4.25. Might as well do it upright, right? All right, let's just add that gray piece. I'm using my gold. It should fit, right? Yeah. Just because I used, for my other layers, I used this gold. So, oh, that's pretty. Nice, rich tones with that gold. Okay. Now, I thought it'd be kind of cool just to give this a little something for some snowflakes, but I'm wondering if I should just do, I don't want to cover up that banner. So, I think I'm going to just tuck them up tight rather than overhanging too much. So we'll do this first one. I'm just going to keep that up in there tight so it's not overhanging too much and I can still see all the other design factors of this. And this was from an embossing folder that you cut out the snowflake from. So these are embossed, and then I sprayed them with some Distress Spritz and some Dr. Martin's Gold splatter. And then I'm just going to pop this up on some dimensionals. If you haven't watched me before, you know that, if you have watched me before, you know I like texture. If you haven't, I love texture, I love dimensionals, I love mixing and splattering and all kinds of stuff. So you see a lot of that when I mix up these sketches. I have a playlist of all my other Kendra's videos too, from this quarter's challenge and the previous quarter's challenge, and feel free to go check out my playlist. It's on. I have a Kendra's Card Challenge playlist, and gets you more ideas of how I mix and match this stuff. Oh, that's cute. Hard to see a little bit of that banner, but I think I like the snowflakes in there, so we're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep it, and put it on there straight. Oh, I like. Should have did a little blue or green or something with that, but I did more aqua. So there is sketch number 12. So let's just review our cards really quick. This was 12. This was 7. Then we had 5. Wait, let me just double check. This was 5. So 12, 5, 7, and then 3. I think these turned out great. Can you believe 4 cards out of that one sample pack, the Nutcracker Christmas? All right. There you have it. Last video for this quarter of Kendra's Card Challenge number 20. Thought we'd end with a Christmas little special, and we got 4 cards out of this pack, and I am very impressed with myself. So hopefully this gave you some ideas when you get these sample packs. Mix and match stuff in there. Go through your stash, get some consumables, throw some glitter paste on there, throw some paste on there, throw some buttons on there, you name it. So I didn't use my gems on both my last 2 packs because I just felt, I could probably throw them in there somewhere, but I'm going to save them for another card. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm hoping you're having a wonderful holiday and able to relax, maybe craft a little bit, and there you have it. End of another quarter. Don't forget, all the links are below. Get yourself entered. You have time to do 15 cards while you're sitting and relaxing over the holidays, and then look at that Patreon page and sign up because you get a lot of bonus stuff for free with that Patreon membership. All right, you guys. Till next time, I'll see you then.